Welcome to the Endless Honeymoon Podcast.
Oh, we're starting?
I'm your host, Natasha Leggero.
Oh, let me do it. Welcome to the Endless Honeymoon Podcast. Now brought to you by National Public Radio. My name's Moshe Kasher.
And I'm Natasha Leggero.
You didn't do it right. You got to do it. If it's NPR, you got to do it with a little bit of a speech impediment.
And I'm Natasha Leggero.
Perfect. You're hired. How you doing, Tosh?
I'm good.
Great day in quarantine. Huh?
Yeah.
We were thinking maybe the last few intros have been a little dour. So we were thinking, what if we, right?
Yeah.
Positive. What if we did a positive intro?
Well, I started thinking today of the things that I have learned from the quarantine.
Yeah? What have you learned?
Well, first of all, I thought there is something nice about it, and I maybe am in a rarefied position where I don't have to go to work, and I feel very lucky for that. And I also, have food. But, sorry, my dog's shaking.
Our dog is like currently dying. So, you okay, cutie?
You okay? She would die on a podcast, though.
She would love to. That would be, she died as she
It's
lived.
like dying on the stage.
If she died in a podcast, at least you could say she died doing what she loved. She's always been a podcasting dog. She was in on the ground floor. She loved Never Not Funny. She loved WTF.
She's pumped with so much medicine right now. She's barely herself.
But she's still alive. That's a positive. She's still alive and a little bit chipper. She's almost like a regular dog.
This might be her last YouTube performance. But anyway, some of the things that have been eliminated, like driving.
It is funny that we were like, we're going to start this with a positive intro. Our dog is dying of congestive heart failure.
But I love not having to drive.
That's
I love not
nice.
having meetings. I love that I learned to cook for my family. I love that I know how to roast a vegetable if I have to now.
You have.
I know how to do the laundry. I'm like doing everything myself now.
Yeah, all of the things that I demanded of you when this quarantine began. I remember I said, woman, if you're not going to be working, you're going to be assuming the traditional roles of a housewife. And you have done an amazing job of that.
No, because my friends used to tell me, because I used to hate to cook, and they would say, I think it might be a psychological problem from like your childhood. Like, how could you not want to cook? But honestly, cooking does make you feel a little more human when you cook for yourself.
I think we all realized that, and RIP to the restaurant industry, because not only are they all like extremely underwater financially, but the entire country came to the awareness at once. Like, why was I spending so much money at a restaurant? I could make this myself. It makes me feel more like I'm connected to my life cycle, and it's like 1/10 of the price. So I've liked cooking. I've liked having meals with the family. I think we have, as a family, really nicely connected. In a weird way, I think that without the quarantine, it's difficult to say that it's a pure positive, but it does feel like all the unrest that we're experiencing in society, there's no world in which people would have been coming out and demanding their rights and demanding change in society if we weren't all distracted by the comforts of capital and capitalism. Like, we all have been so distracted by having to go to work and getting enough money to stay comfortable and stay buying stuff and stay in the grind, that like when you take that away, like they just took capitalism away for a little while, and people are like realizing, oh, this is unacceptable. So to me, that's pretty positive. I think that's been nice.
Also, I like the interactions I have had seem to mean a little more because I'm not seeing many people.
Yeah, you do kind of feel like you know who your friends are in a different way. Like the people that you kept in touch with throughout the quarantine, you feel like, oh, these are my real people, and that's pretty nice too. I had a thought today, was kind of funny. Like, what happened to all the bread?
Baking bread?
Yeah, like everybody started the quarantine with like, I'm gonna go back to my flour grinding roots. I'm making myself a glutinous rye loaf. Oh, I'm making a German chocolate cake. And now we're at it's macaroni and cheese phase. Like, I can't do this anymore.
I agree. What's wrong with her?
I don't know, but we can't have her whining through the entire podcast.
Oh, maybe she wants more broccoli?
Yeah, you're the one that brought food down here.
Wait, the dog's been crying for broccoli?
Yeah, Natasha brought a sprig of broccoli downstairs. and has it. I don't know why these dogs like broccoli. They're straight up nerd dogs. But she like put it on the table and they're whimpering for it. It's not that our dog's dying. It's that they're dying for some of that sweet, sweet Klee. Well, Natasha, I also feel like I've gotten, okay, this is a small pleasure, but I feel like I've watched a lot of old movies and that's been kind of nice. You know, I watched Harakiri the other night, the Japanese classic about seppuku. That was really nice. We watched, like we said, we watched The Long Goodbye. I watched Anatomy of a Murder with Jimmy Stewart the other day. That's been kind of nice. Another thing that's been nice is as the quarantine slowly melts a little bit, even though cases are spiking throughout the country, so it'll probably freeze again soon. You know, we've been finding these little ways to hang out with people. Like the other day when I watched analysis of a murder, Anatomy of a Murder. I had my brother come over and we opened up the side door to where we tape. There's a TV here that you can swing out towards the backyard, and he sat outside on a couch and I sat inside. It was almost like we were hanging out.
That's cool.
It was kind of cute.
And I've also gotten to live with some of your cutest annoying habits.
Oh, this doesn't feel positive. It feels like
No, this is positive because it's cute. It's
Okay.
a cute habit that you have.
What is one of my annoying cute habits?
You store lone marshmallows on different shelves of all of our cabinets and then check on them, and when they get stale you nibble on them and then put them back.
Okay, here's the thing. I
don't think that's normal.
It's not normal, although that feels like it's delving into the realm of negativity.
That's true.
I like a stale marshmallow. It's a treat that I like, and it's from childhood. My grandmother had a bag of marshmallows that she left in a cabinet for like a year, and I found them, and I was like, I wonder what these taste like, and I ate them, and they were like real stale, and I was like, these are fucking good.
So you like Peeps and circus peanuts and
Those
stuff.
aren't circus peanuts are more along. Peeps are the opposite of stale. They're very fresh and moist. What I like is I like something that
Chalky.
I want it to chew back a little bit, you know. So a circus peanut is in the realm of what I'm talking about. But what I've taken to doing since I bought a little that fire pit. We have a bunch of marshmallows around because we're roasting marshmallows with our kid. Is I've been taking them and hiding them around the kitchen in various. Because what I'm trying to do is create a system where like area 1 are marshmallows from 5 days ago, and area 2 they're from 4 days ago, area 3 days ago, so that they're all staling out in different.
And then which level do you go for? The one for 5 days?
I want the 5-dayer, but my problem has been I haven't been able to resist them long enough to let it build up. I need that oxygenation to build up a little bit. But I just keep eating them, you know. So now I'm really trying to get disciplined. I just want to leave the ones from 5 days there, and because you got to get yourself a runway, a stale marshmallow runway, right? Mm-hmm. If I could just wait for like a few weeks, I would be in stale marshmallow heaven. But anyway, we've all got problems.
Do I have an annoying habit that?
Yeah, you fart in your sleep.
No, I don't.
You do a lot. I mean, hardcore.
It's not funny.
It's not funny. It's cute though. I'm not talking like little feminine French farts. I'm talking like big fucking Polish, like kind of, you know what I'm saying? Like welcoming the Third Reich kind of farts in. Just like.
Okay, I gave you a chance to get back at me, but fine.
Matterhorn, straight up.
Let's take a call.
It's a Ricola is what, when you fart, it says Ricola. And a little French man jumps, I can see it on the apex of your butt. He's up there and he's got lederhosen on.
This isn't Thursday at the Comedy Store, Moshe.
I'm just out here riffing, having a nice time, trying to roast my wife a bit. Do you have any funny quirks?
Or what have you learned about like living with me in the quarantine? I know we're trying to like
stay positive.
Yeah.
On a positive note.
Yeah. Oh, is it really hard to think of a positive one?
Well, I'm just saying the things that spring to mind are little pet peeves, but. You know, I've come to I've come to realize that you need breaks once in a while, and I have to remind you to smoke pot.
Okay.
Is that positive? I'll be like, if I sense you in a certain, I'll just be like, hey, don't you smelling the broccoli? Why are you smelling the broccoli?
I thought something smelled, and I was like, oh, it's the broccoli.
No, it's one of your Ricola farts, and you're awake. So imagine what it's like at night. I'm trying to watch Fauda. All of a sudden, I'm like, is that machine gun fire? Oh, no. Ricola.
Can we take a call?
You didn't fart in your sleep.
Honey. I know.
How would you know? You wouldn't know.
I know I don't do
I'll
that.
tell you another cute habit I have.
Hmm.
I need a 20-minute nap a day.
That is cute.
I need to go down for 20 minutes a day. No ifs, ands, or buts about it.
And never really more.
No, that's what I need to recharge. And
In the middle of the day. I'm not like
I
that.
need one stale marshmallow and one 20-minute nap, and I am good to go. Speaking of being good to go, Natasha, you've said it a few times, but I think you're right. The time has come to take a call.
Okay, let's call Jenna in Texas.
Hello.
Jenna,
Hi, Jenna.
Hi.
how you doing? Is this Jenna Bush?
No.
We just saw Jenna in Texas, and
No way.
we thought we got lucky. That would be just an
No,
awesome.
it's not.
It would be an awesome moment for this podcast. I got to tell you.
It really would.
How are you doing?
I'm great. How are you all? Thanks for calling me.
For sure. Are you in a closet? Are you hiding from your parents? What's going on?
I'm hiding from my child.
Oh,
How old's your child?
He's 5.
Okay, and
Cute.
why'd you call us?
So I am a bisexual woman, and I've been married to a man for a few months right before COVID started. It's been a great honeymoon phase
oh, that is
in
beautiful.
isolation.
You guys got to travel
Yeah.
to the.
Did you read the news together?
You got to
Yeah,
travel to the
we
exotic locale, the honeymoon of your apartment.
Yeah, of our tiny house, which I'm glad that we at least have a yard and we're not like locked in an apartment somewhere.
So you're
But it's been
bisexual.
difficult.
You're married. You're a few months in.
This is obviously your
Yeah.
child's from a previous situation.
No, she's
Yes.
from Texas. They don't
Um,
even have rules there.
No, I was living in France with this child, and then I came back.
You left France
I
to go
don't
to
know why,
Texas?
but here I am. No, I left France, and when I came here, I found out I was pregnant, and I was like, "Fuck!" But so I say everything's cool.
Oh, you
We're
had a little
good,
baby
but I'm kind of
baguette?
stuck here for.
You got a little baby
Yeah, I
baguette?
did.
Oh, cute.
Yeah,
From a
little
one-night
fromage.
stand in
Mhm.
Paris?
No, it was casual.
Yeah, well, not that
But
casual.
not
It's a
serious.
5-year-old. That's not super casual. Wait, does he or she speak French?
A little bit, yes.
Is
He
the
doesn't
father
really like it. He thinks it's weird.
is the father a part of your life?
No, I got his rights terminated. It was a whole thing. I didn't want anything from him, but men always come back. I don't know. I just was like, all right, I don't want anything from you, but your
Yeah.
rights are gone.
I hear you.
Yeah. So anyway, but
Okay.
back to my bisexuality.
Yeah. Let's talk about that.
So I really thought that, I got all my craziness out of my 20s and experimentation, and I got married,
Right, you
and I
must
love
have
my
had
husband.
you must have had nothing but menage a trois while you were in France, right? I mean, that's straight up. That's the
Exactly.
home country. They invented it.
Yeah, exactly. And it was fun. It was a great time. But then I was ready to settle down,
For a few months.
and then COVID happened, and we're for a few months we're living together. As you know, it's like really hard to be in a relationship at this time and like always be around each other and getting on each other's nerves. And I've been watching a lot of like queer TV shows. I just finished Transparent, and I was just like, man, I want to like experiment more and like be with a woman and have some kind of connection, because I just feel so disconnected from him. Even though we're in the same house, I feel more like not with him.
I have a
If that makes
question.
sense.
Why did you decide to marry him, and also what's his connection to your son? Like, have you guys
So
formed a
we've been
family unit?
together for like, yeah, we're a family unit. My son has a dad technically here, which is why I'm stuck here. A friend of mine adopted him. So it's not like he's the father figure in my son's life. I mean, we live together, obviously, so he's some kind of figure. But
Wait, your son is adopted to someone else?
uh-huh.
Her son has her friend
This one's so
adopted her son
complicated.
to be. It
Okay.
is complicated, but I think we're figuring it out. The French guy got kicked to the curbs and had his rights terminated. But then she came back to the United States
Yeah.
and found a friend who adopted the child. And now that is the child's father.
Okay.
And now she is married to a man who she's feeling disconnected from
I
and
got it.
believes that the answer to finding connection is a woman. I mean, my primary reaction here is there are two separate issues that you're discussing here. One, and you've conflated them. Now tell me if I'm wrong here, because you know you better than me. Although I am a person that pretends to be an amateur psychologist. But you have the lack of connection you're feeling for your husband, and then you also have your bisexuality, and you've conflated this theoretical emotional connection you'd have with a woman with the lack of connection you're feeling with this guy. But I don't think that's true. I don't think that true happiness lies in the arms of an imaginary woman. I think the issue is what you're feeling at home.
Moshe, you're so good.
Oh,
exactly.
So what does she do then, Moshe?
Well, I mean, I think you work out whether or not you can rekindle that connection with the person that you're living with before you decide. That's just my gut check instinct is you figure out if you can rekindle. The other thing I was going to say is to be gentle on both yourself and your husband, because this isn't normal. None of this is normal. Natasha and I, we felt strains that we've never felt before
For sure.
in our relationship.
And like also a lot of couples, I don't think they're even like spending their evenings together. Like people
Right.
are like separating in the evening. Like we spend so much time with each other, and you know, it's
How could you feel like, I feel so connected to this guy when it's not like romance. It's more like mechanics. It's like every day, all day, sitting together. Like in a way, I'm closer than ever to Natasha, but in other ways, it's like, I never realized how much having some time to myself could build up our connection and our relationship. Not that we're feeling disconnected, but
you're saying if you had time to yourself, it actually builds your relationship, or
I think
gives
so.
energy to it.
Because
Yeah.
it's like trying to swim. That's how I'm feeling sometimes. Like we're trying to swim, we're trying to stay afloat, keep the child happy, keep our family unit going. It's not like we don't have downtime to like go
Get work done,
Yeah, but anyway, okay. So queer TV and queer. I mean, first of all, what's up with your husband's relationship with your sexuality? He knows you're bi?
He knows I am, and he has stated, if I was to be with a woman, it would be considered cheating.
What about
also if it was with a man?
What about like threesomes?
Oh, he'd be totally down for that. But that is so hard to find, unless I get a sex worker, which I listened to that episode. Super great. I've used sex workers before in the past, but that's just not what I'm really looking for. I'm looking for
you want to fall in love with
a
woman.
connection. Yeah, but then that's so complicated and emotional. I've been there.
Well,
tell me about it, sister. I've been there too. Well, I mean, I think my primary advice is the correct advice. Forget your sexuality and figure out whether or not your relationship with your husband is actually imploding and you married someone and it was a mistake, or if you're just feeling some type of way because you're in the middle of quarantine.
And now you're fantasizing about transparent.
Yeah. You're fantasizing about Jeffrey Tambor taking you to bed. Yeah. It's like, because I think those are separate. Like, I don't think that your happiness lies in exploring the other half of your sexuality, or maybe there's more than half. Your happiness lies always within. So it's like, maybe the thing is that you belong with a woman, and maybe that's what you'll discover if you go back to your husband and go, I'm feeling this way. We need to work this out and figure out if we can get there. Maybe you'll go, you know what? After all this work, I realize I made a mistake. I'm actually, who I need to be with is a woman. I'm not saying that's not true. I'm saying that based on the information you have now, there's no way to know that you'd be happy because it was a woman. It just doesn't sound true to me.
I agree.
I agree with you.
So you got to talk to the guy. Have you talked to him about how you're feeling?
Yeah, I have. And we've been working on it, like trying to, watch a movie together or something, instead of just like, I'll just go to bed and be like, okay, bye. I want to be alone.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm trying to make a connection. There's just something so nice about like going to work and missing your partner and like coming home and telling them about your day. It's just
Well,
a weird time.
that's why I think you have to wait until after this all kind of normalizes again to a more normal level, and then see where you guys are at, and then, you know, I still don't quite understand why you decided to marry him. It's been like 2 months.
Well, I'm giving him a green card too.
Oh,
So
man, what a tangled web we weave. From what country is he from?
he's from Colombia.
You're a goddamn United Nations type of lady. Got a French lover that you terminated. You got an adopted dad from Texas who's riding a steer right now out in the wilds of the Texas prairie. And then you got a Colombian, a beautiful Colombian. What are they into? They have I'm trying not to make a cocaine joke. There's something else about Colombia.
Soccer. Oh.
No, they have they created some kind of literary movement like. Oh, I don't know. Fantasy, one of the listeners will tell me.
Oh, you're talking about magical realism.
Magical realism. Yeah, that's what it is. The Colombians are into magical realism.
You sure about that?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
Here's the deal. Okay, we should probably go.
Okay.
But here's the deal. What you're talking about with the woman and transparent and queer TV shows, it's very obvious to me you're talking about an escape. You're feeling less than happy with what's actual reality. This is you're in the midst of magical realism right now. You're fantasizing about an escape, about a woman that you'll meet that will take away your feelings of doldrums and boredom and non-connection. And so you're just indulging in fantasy. And that's what I mean when I mean even though you might need to end up with a woman, you don't have enough information to know that that's what the problem is because you're in a realm of fantasy. You're in a pure.
And no judgment on that, because we all are kind of, fantasizing about
no doubt
this being over.
I sometimes think I need to be with a BBW right now, but it's not.
I don't think you ever stopped thinking that
I
much.
don't have enough information right now. So I think that's the thing to do is to come to that guy and figure out what's up with your connection with him before you start projecting your connection onto a woman you haven't even met.
And try to have a fun date night where you guys can connect and get that connection, because you're talking about an emotional connection. So I don't know. You have to really see if this guy lacks that, then that's an issue.
For sure.
Again, not sure why you married him, but then,
Hey, listen, if all else fails, you can always run off to a third country and see what happens there.
Yeah, maybe in the far future.
All right. Well, good
You're
luck.
welcome.
We'll see.
Bye.
Thank you
Good
so
luck.
much. Bye.
Nice
Have
to
a great
talk
night.
to you. You
Bye.
too. Man, you're like Marie Antoinette when it's time to get off the phone. You're like, you're welcome. Bye, bitch. Bye. Don't know why you married him. Bye.
What?
Bye.
Well, I'm just saying.
Why does he have an adopted dad? Bye.
I didn't know what she
Why
was.
Colombia? Bye. Sounds like an immigration scam. Bye-bye.
I was just trying to, wrap it up,
I hear you.
but also understand exactly. It was a little confusing.
It was a little confusing.
I always wanted some clarification.
There's a lot going on there, but I do think, I do think it's very easy.
But this is the escape is like, I'm sure a lot of people can relate to that.
Absolutely. It's very easy.
You and your video games.
No, that's just a hobby. I'm not trying to escape you. What is wrong with you? You do fart in your sleep.
No,
Honestly, you do.
don't.
Honestly, it's true.
Moshe, don't say that, because I know it's not true. I'm a light sleeper and I would know.
Well, sometimes it gets heavy, just so you know. Well, you do snore. That's true.
I know that.
You snore.
That's true.
Well,
But I don't anymore because I sleep on my side.
right. Except that
sleep-
you do.
No, I don't.
I mean, you do. I'm the one that's awake while you're asleep, so I'm kind of the authority around here.
Why don't you nudge me?
I do. I often do.
But do you pretend like you're doing something else?
No, I nudge you.
But do you pretend like you're just fixing a pillow, or are you like stop
I
snoring?
do both. I have a multi-tiered strategy to get you to stop. Because like when someone snores, you don't want them to wake up, but you want them to go like, "What's it?" and then stop. So I do that.
Right. You don't want to like make them feel bad.
No.
Well,
Have you ever watched a TV show and thought you'd be more happy in the arms of someone else?
No.
Whoa, I did not like the pause.
No. I just wanted to say that.
Ask me. Ask me.
Have you ever watched
No.
a TV show?
Are you crazy? No. What were we gonna say?
I just think that it's hard right now.
It is hard. I mean, people need to be gentle on themselves and even gentle on their partners. Their partners who aren't being as romantic, because that's the thing that it's very easy to forget in a relationship. I have found is that your partner, even though you don't live in their head, they're having their own emotional process, and you're forgetting about that because we're also as human beings so fixated on our own emotional process and our own problems and our own feelings of needing to escape or needing a connection. We forget that there's another person there probably having their own set of emotions and stuff. So like. Yeah, he's probably that Colombian guy. He's probably like, damn, I can't leave her. I need this green card.
Yeah.
I can't go anywhere. I'm stuck. I need this green card. I'm in a scam marriage and I need this green. He didn't laugh. I had to like do the joke so many times, but all right, should we do some, what do you think?
I'd like to take some secrets.
Secrets? Let's do it.
Hey guys, so I'm calling because I don't tolerate gluten, but hear me out. First of all, in the medical community, they literally call it a gluten sensitivity, which is just hilarious. And I would be willing to bet like 60% of people who say that they're gluten intolerant are just lying. But for those of us who really do have a hard time eating it and digesting it, generally the most common thing is for it to just be like lactose intolerance, and it's just like bloating and diarrhea and whatever else. But there are also people who get like painful joints and other things. And my secret is that I tested to have an intolerance of gluten, and I just didn't care, and I didn't stop eating it until finally I realized that it was the reason I had acne, and that was the only thing that mattered to me. And the only reason I can ever turn down delicious gluten is by remembering, yeah, I'll get depressed, whatever. Yeah, my bones are going to hurt, probably. Yeah, I'm going to feel sick for a few days, probably longer than that. But what I really can't handle is my skin breaking out. Okay, bye.
All right. I feel like this
What is our demo?
That's a great question. But I want to say that this is the first official abuse of the Secrets Hotline.
Yeah, she was kind of prophesying.
Yeah. It was just her. It was mostly a defense of gluten intolerance. Way secondarily a secret. It was barely a secret. So don't come on our Secrets Hotline with a platform, okay?
It was like she was running for office.
I just want to say that I am a flat earther and there's a lot of truth to it. But anyway, my secret is that Columbus never sailed around the world.
I think she was maybe partly answering because I asked on the podcast, I was really curious, what is the thing that happens to all these people? Is it just farting?
Right.
I didn't know it was joints aching.
Yeah, I mean, no
Your
doubt.
Your body hurts?
I know, we roasted the gluten. By the way, I did like how she said it. I think every person who's gluten intolerant should say it the way that caller. So there's only redeeming quality is that she said, I do not tolerate gluten. And I think that's how they should all say it from now on. You don't say I'm gluten intolerant. Say, oh, I'm sorry, I don't tolerate gluten. I do not in my life, not in my America. I know that gluten sensitivity is real. I did roast them last week a bit. I know that it's real. I just also think some people are doing it and they don't have it. That's all.
And her secret was that
the only reason she avoids gluten is because it made her skin break out.
Right, I hear
her secret.
Oh, like she could handle body pains.
Right,
but not the vanity.
I get that. I do get that.
I'm with her.
Okay.
Let's hear another one.
Hey, Natasha and Moshe. So I'm sitting here in this ghetto gas station, and I'm just going to come out with it and say it. I have masturbated in tanning beds before.
Tanning beds?
Yes. And it's something about being completely naked under a heat lamp, especially in the winter, and you got just 10 minutes to get your business done, and I usually do it on my lunch breaks. And then I just like the thought, and this is going to sound really bad, of them just cleaning it up afterwards with their squeegee and their rag. Yeah. I mean, I don't squirt all over it, but, it ain't clean either. So there's my secret. Bye.
Okay, I have a confession.
Yeah?
I'm with her. I think I've done this.
What do you mean you think you've done this?
I feel like I've done this before, but not the second part where I want people to wipe it up.
But so it's just an unfortunate byproduct.
I just remember getting horny in a tanning bed.
Really?
Yeah, I
From
think so.
from the tanning?
Just like it's like, I don't know, you're bored and like, you're naked and it's like hot and I don't know, you've got 15 minutes.
Interesting. And so
Yeah, I'm sure you would if you were doing. I'm
I
sure.
would definitely not, because my penis is so big it would go straight up in. If it got hard, it would go into the hot bulbs.
But she lost me at wanting them to pick it up.
I think that was an underappreciated joke. I mean, it would go into the hot bulbs.
I like that.
It would grow into the bulbs. Are there bulbs?
It's like you can like decide how far down you want it, and I would always be afraid, so I had a lot of space.
Oh, interesting.
I don't know why I did that. Probably for like.
That's kind of interesting that she's into the idea of tanning bed workers cleaning up her nut, her like girl nut. Like that is pretty sadistic.
Very masculine.
You think?
Kind of.
Clean up my load.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, just clean it up. But bad news for you. Guess what? When you get out, every time they turn the bed on again, and so it fries it dry. So they don't have to do it. Let's play another.
Hey guys, first off, I really liked that message. This is kind of a response slash, I guess maybe a secret to a caller from, I think, the FOMO episode, where her boyfriend or fiance, I don't remember what, was basically sitting in a parking lot for 2 hours after he got off work.
Hold on, pause.
All
right, this is the second abuse of the Secrets Hotline. I'm sorry, you don't get to just call and follow up on a caller and talk shit.
But that did stick with me. I've been thinking about that all week.
I know, me too. But also he goes, and I guess a secret. It's like, as the country has fallen apart, so too do the rules of decorum on the Secrets Hotline. All right, let's see what this fella has to say. Play.
And that really struck a bell with me because I got out of a relationship in January, and about 3 months before I broke the relationship off with her, I would literally do the same thing, but
Whoa.
down in my garage, and I would just waste time and fuck around with my car and my tools, and just because I didn't want to go up and see her. So, I mean, I just thought it was interesting that more guys do that. Thanks. Bye.
I am fascinated. I've always been fascinated.
Well, she didn't know that's what he was doing either. We were kind of like, well, it might just be COVID. He might just need to decompress. But if you're listening, maybe that is an indication.
He said. I don't remember. I need some time to myself.
Well, that's different than saying I'm about to break up with you.
Right. But it's always been interesting to me that people are so scared of breaking up that they just stay in things that they're not enjoying.
Right. Well, I guess they want to make sure they can find someone else.
Is that what it is?
Yeah. Because then people will think, oh, I'm too old. I'm not sexy.
Not the woman. I'm talking about the guy. Both of these guys. If they're so miserable in their relationship that they have to go hide in their car or in their garage, why not end the relationship?
Well, I remember it always took about 6 weeks to break up with somebody.
Really?
If you're in a deep relationship, it's not like it's that easy.
I've never really had a real breakup, so I don't really know. Honestly, I meant curious. Literally, I don't know what it's like to be in a relationship for a long time and you're like, I'm not enjoying this. It just feels like I'd just be like, you know what I would do if I stopped enjoying our relationship? I would treat you the way you treat a caller when it's time to wrap up a call. I'd be like, bye. Bye. I'm out the door. Joint custody, bitch. Bye. We'll figure it all out, bitch. Bye. I got myself an apartment. Bye. I'm moving into my RV. Bye-bye. Gonna take a long trip on the national park system. Bye-bye-bye. No, I probably wouldn't. I'd be anguished. I'd be anguished. It's scary to think about just falling out of love with somebody.
Yeah.
I guess you have. You've done it. I've never done it. And I never will. Let's play another.
Hey guys, so my on again, off again boyfriend of like 5 years cheated on me a long time ago with this girl that he worked with, and we worked for the same company, so eventually I had to work with her as her boss. And I ended up befriending her, like getting close with her, and all the while she didn't and still doesn't know that I know that she fucked my boyfriend. And later, when my boyfriend and I were on another break, he fucked another girl who was his employee, and now I'm her boss again. And like we talk and text all the time, and I'm training her to be a manager, and she's awesome, but she still doesn't know that I know that my boyfriend and her fucked. So in a way, it's like I get a moral superiority from being like the bigger person in these friendships, and knowing that since they like me now, they probably feel like they betrayed me. It's like a moral high ground, but I also really like the girl, so it's weird. Maybe I'm like a cuck. If women can be cucks, I don't know. But anyway, I love the podcast, and my boyfriend and I were at your special taping in Austin while we were broken up. Thanks.
Sweet, sweet lady cuck.
I mean, I think she's right.
That she's evolved.
Yeah, it's like...
That's what it sounds like to me. I mean, this guy, I'm not sure this guy's a huge winner. Although I do like that he came to our comedy show, so I do tend to kind of empathize with him. But it sounds like the guy is the problem. But she does, yeah, she seems evolved. Right?
Yeah.
Why not be? It's always weird to me when I watch these videos. I watch a lot of fight videos, as you know, Natasha. And it's like some woman pulls up on the woman that's cheating on her man and beats up the woman. I'm like, the woman didn't do anything.
And also
beat up the man.
She's doing the right thing. She has no option.
Yeah.
Not to be weird, but I know that you fucked my boyfriend. Like,
she should.
There's no cool way to say that to someone. I don't think.
She should probably try to seduce both of them.
I think she should just like not worry about it.
I'm kind of with you, but what if she seduced both of them?
That sounds really hot, Moshe.
Yeah. Oh wait, let's call that girl back with the green card marriage. So we've got somebody for her. All right, one more secret.
Hi, Natasha and Moshe. I'm just calling because I have this secret where when my boyfriend and I go to stay at my parents' house, one time he had a wet dream, and so that was funny in and of itself, so I wanted to keep it going, and every time that we go to sleep over at my parents' house, I jerk him off in his sleep so that he wakes up thinking that he had a wet dream, and now he's convinced that there's something about that specific bed and room that just does it for him. Yeah, that's my secret.
I love the follow through.
I gotta say, I don't really believe this secret. This doesn't sound true.
I think maybe she's done it like twice.
But
maybe she's done it 3 times.
First, everything about this smells fishy. Like, first of all, her husband had a wet dream. Like, is she married to a 14-year-old virgin? Like, huh? But maybe I could believe that. But then this same man who had a wet dream, she's able to jerk off to completion without him waking up every time they go home to their parents' house. Like, every time. So just to conduct some psychological experiment. If you jerked me off in my sleep, like, I would not, you would
wake up, right?
I would wake up the moment you began touching it. I'd be like, what are you doing?
That's what you'd say. What are you doing?
Are you jerking me off to try to get me to think that your parents' bed turns me on?
Right. Like, now does he believe in ghosts?
Well, why ghosts?
Like he thought that
the
just
ghosts
in
of her ancestors?
I don't know, like a wet dream, like that's only something that like kids have.
Kids?
Don't you only have a wet dream if you're like a teenager?
A teen. I guess. I never had one.
You never had one?
Never had a wet dream. No, I was too busy getting pussy. Okay, well that didn't land at all. Now I got to cut it out of the podcast.
Don't cut it out. We all support you. Okay, let's take one more call.
Okay,
and then
one
I have
last
to go.
call. You got to go, huh? Where are you off to?
I have to take a bath.
All right.
Let's call Veronica. Ooh.
Oh, in Oakland, California. Oh, shit.
Brap, brap.
Brap, brap. Calling my hometown. Now, you might notice I'm going to speak a little different.
Hello?
Veronica. What's up, folks? Town business.
Nothing.
Town business.
Hi.
What's upper? How's the town?
Well, it's June, so there's fireworks.
Hell yeah.
dog
Where do you
park.
live?
I live in West Oakland.
Whoa, West Oakland. You know, West Oakland is funny because when I assume you didn't grow up in Oakland, Veronica?
I grew up in Marin County, so no.
Okay. So West Oakland, Natasha, when I was growing up, was a place that we would go under duress to go buy weed. Like you would never kick it, ever. And then all of a sudden in like 2000, all these white people started moving into West Oakland, gentrifying up the place with a kind of a willful, what's the right word? It was like a gleeful ignorance about the neighborhood. Not you, Veronica, not you. You were probably a late waiver. But it was
gleeful ignorance.
But it was like all the people who grew up in Oakland would be like, "You're moving to the West?" Okay.
Yeah, like specifically, I moved to Dogtown.
Yeah. Well, it's a different community now. It's a different world. I'm so glad to talk to somebody in Oakland. How is it feeling? How are the streets?
It's been pretty okay compared to a lot of the country right now. You know, like early on with the protests, like we were going to marches and there's been some like in-car protests and bike protests, but there's not been a lot of like bad shit going on here. Like the Oakland PD surprisingly kind of pulled out and stopped tear gassing people a few weeks ago, so that's cool, I guess.
Yeah, that's cool. It's a low bar, but it's a bar that they passed. So what's up, Veronica? Why did you call us?
So I called because I did move to Oakland 4 years ago. I grew up in the Bay Area, but mostly in San Francisco and in the North Bay. But I'm at a point now, like my husband and I moved here 4 years ago, and I've been asking him for over a year if we could move. And it's nothing to do with Oakland, it's just Bay Area in general, you know.
Where
like,
do you want to move to?
Like somewhere where we can buy a house, somewhere where we can have like a second bedroom. We've considered Austin, Portland, North Carolina, like all the...
So you want to uproot
all the
kind of.
hipster spots.
Sure. Got it. Okay.
Yeah. And he's really like, he keeps saying like, oh yeah, totally. Yeah. I also think that like we don't have much of a future here if we want to, you know, own a home or retire or have children. But he doesn't actually do anything about it. And every time I talk to him about it, there's like a new excuse as to why we can't move yet.
Like what? Can you tell us a couple of those excuses?
Yeah, like the most recent one is like, well, you know, it's a pandemic right now. I'm not going to be able to find another job in another part of the country. I should just keep the job I have now.
That's actually
that's a pretty good excuse.
Understandable.
I'm gonna give him that one. I'm gonna give him a good, nice pass for that one.
But you know, his field actually isn't like nobody in his field is actually laid off or anything. You know, there are jobs. He's just not applying to them.
Right. Well, hey, so there's your counter argument right there. It's like, oh, I hear you, but why don't you apply and find out? Right? Like he could be doing that little step. You're saying he never takes the little step, right?
Yeah, we've been talking about it for over a year, and like I really got mad a few weeks ago, and he was like, okay, well, to let you know I'm serious, I'm going to log into my LinkedIn and update it, which to me is like it's the bare minimum.
It's the not shooting tear gas at protesters of making overtures to move. It's a low bar.
Here's the thing. I mean, in every relationship, there's going to be someone who like kind of sets everything up and drives things and books the vacation and figures everything out and schedules things and, you know, makes sure everything happens and kind of is the energy behind that. And I don't know, I find it in our relationship, I'm really good at scheduling and like pushing it.
It's you, you're saying.
Yes, it's me.
Well, I think I'm definitely the pusher, you know, like he doesn't like to make any changes, and I'm much more impulsive than he is.
So it might be good to like narrow it down to a few cities, like make the next step by yourself and do a little research and be like, it's either Portland, Austin, or so it doesn't feel so overwhelming. So, you know, I don't know if you need to like look on Zillow, look at opportunities, but maybe if you narrowed it down a little bit and really maybe he would see that you were a little more serious because you've been thinking about it and you think it's between these three cities. And also I would try to pick a city. Is there anyone where you know people or know someone who knows someone? I mean, that's always like, you know, or family, you know, if one place has a few, because you're kind of talking about like uprooting yourself, and that's like a really big, I did that when I was young, but
Right.
That's really hard to do, especially with like another person, because you have to agree on where to go. And
Well, what can I ask?
Right. And there is this other level of complication is the fact that, like, I've never lived outside of the Bay Area except for 9 months when I lived in Austin, and my car didn't have air conditioning, so I moved home.
I mean,
And
it's the
then,
best
like,
place in the world, but
Yeah, it's
it's
pretty good.
expensive.
And then he's actually British. Like, he came here on a work visa, and then we got married, and he has a green card via our marriage. So he has no
this
family.
so you're the
or
host.
friends.
This is your country. So you need to be like, okay,
Yeah.
here's what's up. It's
Here's
one
where
of
we're
these.
going.
If I lived with a British guy in England, I would totally take my cues from him
Yeah.
in what to do and where to go.
That's a good point. But to back up 4 steps, have you had a conversation not about moving, but about his reluctance to move, where you say something like, I'm noticing that you keep making excuses and I have to have that stop because I'm really serious that I want to get out of here as soon as it's possible?
We've touched on that. The problem is that, like, he's like a people pleaser, and he's very agreeable. So even when I'm very direct, he'll be like, yeah, no, I totally get that.
I don't like this touched on it stuff. I think what's obvious is that the next step for you guys to take is for you to sit down and say, I know we've talked a lot about doing this, but I need to start putting this plan into action. And here is our timeline. Like, be the pusher.
She needs to have new information.
That's
the next
right.
time
I love that.
she sits and talks with him.
New information. That's
So
great.
me, like, sending him a link to a house and being like, why won't you do this? It's not enough.
No, because then it just becomes like
nagging.
It becomes a part of your dynamic rather than a real a serious conversation. It's just like he knows that when you bring it up, he can make an excuse and you'll go and keep on doing what you're doing. But he doesn't know what it's like for you to sit down and say, here's what I need. I need us to move within the next, what do you think is reasonable? Year, 2 years?
Well, I mean, it was supposed to be a year ago.
Yeah,
and,
but
like,
okay,
things-
but it wasn't.
yeah.
So now what? So I need us to move within the next year, barring you being unable to find a job. So I need to get this to be more serious because to me, I'm feeling like rebuffed and not really listened to, and maybe I'm partially responsible for that because I haven't told you how serious I am about it. But it's time for us to get serious. A conversation like that where you map out the plan. You need to, apply to some jobs in these communities and see if there's anything out there. We need to start taking action. That's what I think. It's time for a come to Jesus conversation.
Yeah. I think maybe that's part of the issue is that I'm not a great planner. I'm very impulsive, so I haven't had a plan. I've just been like, let's go.
Right.
I
So
really
haven't
think narrowing it down, realistically, like, Austin's an amazing city, but I don't know. I don't know if I could move to a right-wing state right now.
Well, Austin barely counts.
I
think.
know, but still you're in Texas. I don't know. I mean, I'm
One
just
of the
saying you should
angles
like
I was
consider.
What's that?
One of the angles I was going to kind of push is that, my vote and eventually his vote is a lot more worthwhile in, like, some of these areas that could be considered swing states if they are in Oakland.
Sure, you should move to Wyoming based on that logic. Wait, okay.
No,
by the way, you should definitely just move to Europe. I don't know what you're thinking. But anyway, here's my last bit of advice. Do you guys ever go to couples counseling or anything like that? Probably not, huh?
No.
There's something about, I mean, I know it seems like a kind of an atomic option to bring a stranger in, but since you're bad at planning and he's bad at committing, it just seems like it would almost be nice to, like, involve a person that
a mediator.
A person that you're both responsible to. Not even about emotional issues, but just like you don't know how to plan, he doesn't know how to pull the trigger. You're down to pull the trigger and without even figuring out what the target is, and he's so scared to pull the trigger he won't pick up the gun. So what you guys need is maybe for some third party to come in and go, I'm going to help you make a plan. And I'm going to help you make a schedule, and I'm going to help you guys figure out what your game plan is.
I agree.
I think that'd be helpful because I can be really overwhelming, and he's very, like, British and, like, subdued. So he like lets me steamroll him a lot of times when it comes to, like, discussions. So it would be nice to have someone to, like, cut me off.
I got it.
Like, let him talk.
I know what I know. I think I got it. You need new information, as Natasha said, but then you admitted to yourself that and to us that you're not really good at making plans or very concrete things. The new information is, I'd really like us to bring in an outside person to talk about this. I'm not saying we have a problems in our relationship. I don't think we do. I just think we need to bring a third person in so we can someone to help motivate us. And maybe it doesn't even need to be a therapist. Maybe it could be like a life coach. They have those, and they're almost as qualified to give advice as we are here on the Endless Honeymoon podcast. But but also, you're both quarantining. It's a perfect time. You don't even have to commit to going to an office. You can do one of these services, these online therapy services, and just Zoom with somebody who can help you make a plan. That's the new information. You sit down and say, here's some new information. I need us to do an online therapy session, a few sessions of to make a plan to get out of here. That's what I think. Tosh?
I'm interested. I'm interested. It's interesting that you say that.
Tell me more.
Because you wouldn't do that.
Because I wouldn't do it?
No, you would go to an online therapist?
Sure. Yeah,
Really?
I would. Yeah.
Okay.
Why? What did you want to discuss?
No, I don't want to, but I mean, I just don't know that anyone would be open to that.
Natasha, you don't understand. We're not fucked up the way this couple is. They have serious problems. They need help. We don't need that kind of help.
Well, I mean, yeah.
Would it be the same to do like a financial planner? Because really, like my concern is that like we're wasting like a lot of our years here, like paying rent to people when we could be like saving money and like investing. And
Totally. I what do you think, Tosh? I think so. But I think you need. It's almost like you guys need not only a financial planner, but it could almost even be like a best friend.
I have an
somebody
idea.
to keep you accountable. Tosh, what's up?
I know what you guys should do. So get him to agree that when you guys can start traveling, maybe in September, you visit 2 cities.
Have you visited these places already?
Yeah, we've been to Austin a few times together because I've got a lot of friends there from when I lived there, and we've both separately been to like Portland. And then the UK is an option, but it's just not something we've pursued super heavy at the moment because it's a much more drastic change.
Sure.
I already know.
Yes.
Move to Austin. You're welcome.
Okay. Move to Austin. Get a third party, whether it's a financial planner, a therapist, a life coach, or even it could be like a one of these weird. You know how everybody's like a spiritual helper now online. You know they have these people that used to be just like recovering alcoholics that were working at a Starbucks, but now they all have like an online brand where they help you with your spiritual life. It could
I can read my energy.
Yeah, like it could even be someone like that because it's not actually important who it is. It's important that it isn't you.
Yeah, and that's the problem is that we're quarantined in a 1-bedroom apartment, and we're just like there's just like a constant feedback loop of the two of us only speaking to each other.
If only there was a community you could tap into through some sort of device in that 1 bedroom that could contact you with the outside world. We've got it. There is such a person. And in fact, you could call the family therapist, the couples counselor that we had on this very podcast, or call Inari Popcorn, the sex worker. Just call someone.
Yeah, she was fun.
Yeah, call someone else and have them help you. You've taken the first step by calling us. Now you and your husband, he's so polite, he's going to say yes. He's British. We were just watching Mary Poppins, and they're all insulting each other by being polite. They're like, thank you for your help. I believe if you go into the kitchen, the cook has some food for you. So he's never going to tell you what he's really feeling. So you got to take the reins.
No, it's terrible.
Grab the steer
and
by the horns.
I'm an Italian American, so it's just like all my feelings are out at all times, and his are much further in.
Right, totally. You're like, forget about it, and he's like, I've already forgotten.
All right. Well, good luck, honey.
Good luck. Get out of Oakland.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
All right. Have a good night.
You too.
Bye.
Yeah, it's funny. It's the same dynamic, actually, of somebody not breaking up with someone because they are too scared to pull the trigger. It's like, here are 2 people that both agree they need to go, but they aren't going because one is too polite to say I'm feeling pressured, and the other one is too scatterbrained to make a super good plan.
It takes a lot of personal power to uproot yourself and start a life. You know, you have to really want it. And, you know, it's hard.
It's also very hard to leave the Bay Area.
Yeah.
It's really difficult.
Because you're like in the best place.
It's the best. And
I mean, I'm not saying the Bay Area is the best place,
is.
but in terms of like being picturesque and having a breeze and being, you know, every street is beautiful.
No doubt. The Bay Area is the best place. And I regret having left.
Do you really?
No, I love LA, but it took me a while. It took me a while. I remember I was driving down Los Feliz Boulevard, and I it was about 6 months after I moved here, and I realized that the spell had broken. I spent like maybe it was more than that. Maybe it was like a year and a half in, because I would go up to the Bay Area for the weekend, and I'd be
Because you
like,
met me.
this was way before I met you.
Oh.
You were not the breaker of the spell. You were the breaker of the other spell. But I just like I felt like, the king in Lord of the Rings. No, you probably don't. When you,
No, honey.
I should not finish this analogy. All right, I won't. Listen, Tosh.
Yeah.
Of course I don't want to go back to the Bay Area, because when I came down to Los Angeles, I met my destiny. My life started to become the life that I had dreamed in many ways, financially, career-wise, and then I started surfing. And that has really been a dream come true.
I mean, you act like it. The way you look at those waves, you just always look longingly whenever you see an ocean. Like,
I do. I
and
love
you're
it.
always like, I should have gone surfing. You'll be like out with me and our daughter, and you're just like staring at the ocean, like, oh, I really missed out today.
I have many loves. You know what I love most of all?
What?
Our YouTube page. You can find us on YouTube at youtube.com/endless honeymoon to watch this podcast.
Subscribe.
Yep, we got an Instagram. And as always, you can leave a secret on our secrets hotline, 213-222-8608.
Play by the rules.
Play by the rules. Don't abuse the system. But honestly, I'll be honest with you, Natasha.
Yeah.
It's not surfing that I love the most.
Okay.
Do you know what I love?
No.
I love you.
I love you too.